Hello from Abu Dhabi, the first stop of the 2015 Red Bull Air Race. We're here for the 7th time, and it's my pleasure to talk with the current world champion, Nigel Lamb. We've solicited questions from social media. The first question comes from Benjamin Dudley. Nigel, what is your scariest moment ever in air racing?
Mike, I've had many scary moments in my flying career, mostly when I was in the military. Boringly, I've had no big scary moments in the air race, so it's disappointment to the fans.
Okay.
My vampire crash in 1977 was a moment I knew I'd die, so I guess that's top of the list.
All right,
Okay.
The second question I have is from Keith McClellan, and he's curious about the Gs that we pull. The airplanes are in the air race, we limited artificially to 10 Gs, but what do you feel? What is your limit? Is it the airframe or is it the man?
Well, you always have to relate G to time. So my airplane's a 14G airplane. You know, the race limit is 10, so we're well under the airframe limit, and we're also well under the limit of the pilot, because you can spike way up towards 14, no problem at all. It all depends on the time, as you know.
Question number 3 comes from Nicholas Alfred Joseph. All right. How did you get started in flying? What motivated you to get into aviation?
My motivation, I guess, came from a childhood passion to sort of soar with the eagles, and kind of top of cliffs. I wanted to dive off and just fly,
Yeah.
And wrote to the Air Force when I was 11. They told me to go back to school and get a good education. I got a fairly good one, I think. And anyway, I was very lucky to get into the military, and that was the basis and the foundation for everything that's happened since.
And I have another question here from Patrick Yost. He wants to know what's going through your head right before, when you're in hold one, before you go down through the start gate.
That's a really good question. It's total focus, really, on going through in my case, a very stringent checklist of making sure you remember everything, to set the engine up, set the cockpit up, make sure you got the vents closed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And just, you've pre-rehearsed everything in your mind as to how you're going to attack the track. And then as you're coming in towards the start gate, you've got to get your speed exactly right. You've got to remember to turn your smoke on. And then you've really got to be in that mind frame where you're in the present, but just slightly ahead of the airplane as well. So it's a really kind of specific mind frame.
And then the last question I have here is from David Noble, and I like this question too. He wants to know about your journey, how you got into air racing. And I remember a little bit of that. I remember a Nigel Lamb in a yellow Extra 300 that pitched up at Longleat and raced with us back in 05. You sure have come a long way since then. I mean, now look at you, you're world champion. What are the high points and maybe some low points of that journey?
Well, I've had a lot of highs and lows, and actually I do remember specifically my very first race at Longleat in England, meeting you, and you said, "Hey Nigel, you're going to take this thing in the track." It was my beloved. I'd been with the Extra 300, my mid-wing Extra 300 for 15 years, and you said, and I said, "What's wrong with it? It's great." You said, "No, trust me, I owned one. It's a dog." And actually it was a dog. You were completely right. And then I stepped up to a single seat Extra, which in those days was just too draggy. And then I took a long period in the doldrums with the MX airplanes, trying to refine it, and kind of in the wilderness of air racing for quite a few years, and slowly climb my way back by developing the airplane, but not just the airplane, the strategy of how to race.
Great. All right, Nigel, good luck
Mike.
today.
Nice to
All right,
talk to you.
you got it.
Cheers. Bye.
Great.
Bye.